What do you think about the internal issue thread on Reddit about G2? I don't know what you're talking about.
They
Like
sent
the
me a
statement.
thread. Yeah, there's a statement for G2.
You've read the G2 statement, right?
Oh, you want to talk about that? We can go over that.
Uh-oh.
You ready? You ready for this? All right.
This will be great.
I'm gonna go nuts on them. You just
You're going to
wait.
get deleted from Reddit again.
Where's the... Oh, here we go.
Here we go.
You ready? You ready for all of this? Okay, let's just go paragraph by paragraph, everybody. We realize that we have received a lot of backlash from the community for the fact that we made a conscious decision to take a break following our championship win in Rotterdam, and we wanted to take a moment of your time to explain the reasoning behind this decision and hopefully add some clarity to the situation. I don't think you can. My commentary. For the record, while our players did post some unfortunately worded tweets following a devastating defeat against SKT T1 yesterday, it is not our intention that this statement serves as an excuse for poor play, but rather as an explanation as to why we allowed our players to take a break when we did.
What?
Okay. Well, first off, everybody had crappy tweets yesterday from your org, all right? Following a rigorous spring split with practice scrims and official games for 10 plus hours a day, 6 days a week for 3 months straight. Okay, first off,
That's like every team.
every team did this except the Korean and Chinese teams and even the Taiwanese teams played 2 to 3 times more games than you did over a longer season because they also had another week of playoffs that you didn't have. It was important for the mental state of our players to be allowed to take some time away from the game. I approve. Again, when I said in my little rant yesterday, I think there's too much League of Legends. I think the players deserve more of a break, but that's not the reality we live in. Visit their families and reset for MSI in the following summer split. While staying in our gaming house in Berlin as a unit could have offered some team practice, the quality of that practice would not have done anything to help improve our team play leading up towards MSI and the level of teams attending here.
Perhaps the new patch, getting used to that.
First off,
That's
this
factually
is
wrong.
this is horseshit. That's just wrong. That's like how you cannot possibly know that, and I don't think that. I think some practice is still better than no practice.
As a statement.
Shocking opinion. Planning a boot camp in China/Asia before MSI proved difficult due to visa application process. This is also bullshit.
That is bullshit.
Well, the China part's true.
The China part is
China, sure.
but you can still get the Chinese visas before MSI. And planning a boot camp in China/Asia proved difficult due to the visas. No, in Korea, first off, 2 of your players are Koreans. And second off, the rest of your players have 90 days that they can be in Korea on a tourist visa.
All European Union.
As a
All
Yep.
EU countries can be here. So the correct answer, what you mean to say, is we didn't think about going to Korea and the uncertainty of knowing whether we qualify or not. Fine. Here's what you do. I know this is shocking. All right. You wait till you win, then you book a plane ticket and a hotel, and you just say, we already looked this stuff up. You instantly book it as soon as you win,
So you
and
win.
you leave the next day.
And you book a ticket to China.
No, Korea. There you go.
So close!
Oh, so close. Between the final in Rotterdam and the start of the summer split, the team have 23 days. Had 23 days, I guess. 12 of those were before MSI. Well, we're in a tense quagmire right now. So spending that time practicing against challenger level teams would have been detrimental towards our. So the assertion here is that practicing against challenger teams actually makes you worse. Well, I'll just disagree with that. Straight up. I think it's not as helpful. I would use the word detrimental.
It's not going to hurt their level of play.
No, but they said it would.
They would. Like,
Right.
basically. Now, think about this, guys.
This is an official statement.
No, wait.
You can't argue.
If G2 had stayed in Europe and practiced against challenger teams, they would be even worse. They would be even worse. Just think about that. Even worse.
That puts the last 2 days in context.
In fact, they would have lost 5 games after only playing 4 games.
Jesus.
They would have just been penalized an extra game. They went to negative time,
But I just don't
forfeited
understand,
15.
Spending time practicing against the fact that you're practicing would make you better no matter
No,
what.
no.
No, it would have been
No, but-
worse. They would have
no.
been even worse. It was actually just better for them not to
You,
practice.
you
at all.
can't think
Thank
like
God
that.
they didn't practice.
Thank
like-
God they didn't
It
practice.
could have been worse, Monty.
Oh God.
EU would have already been kicked out of Worlds
Yep.
contention if
Okay.
they had scrimmed against challenger teams.
Yes, players did go home on break, but they kept all their mechanics on par by practicing individually. Well, I don't believe I've seen that.
Before heading to
I don't believe I've seen that. Considering I watched your team
Look,
beforehand.
that's just saying
and
they
now.
played a lot of solo queue. That's probably true.
Who knows? There simply weren't any LCS level scrim partners in Europe ready to practice against, and staying in Berlin would have been a very this is so many assumptions, and I agree that maybe there weren't any LCS level scrim partners, but to say there was nothing, and it's also, again, you're basically just building your concepts on a giant fallacy to begin with, because it's not a binary decision. It wasn't stay in Europe and practice against challenger teams or go home. It was go to Korea, where you 100% don't have visa problems, and boot camp there, where I can tell you right now Korean teams were active. So here's how you make this statement. We're sorry to our fans. We didn't think about going to Korea. We apologize. That's how the statement should fucking be.
Even if you weren't going to Korea to play against Korean teams, because let's say Korean teams weren't active, you're at least playing against all of the North American teams,
Yeah,
which gives you more
everybody is
international experience.
They
because
weren't
there
here.
are-
They weren't
They
here.
weren't here at
They
that
weren't
time.
here at the time. That's not fair.
They could have practiced against Spenu, Combo
Okay.
Monster,
Okay.
Ever, and,
Okay, that is actually
And-
correct.
And the
I was
the
thinking about the
finals teams.
timeline with them going to
They could-
MSI. You're very
you could
correct.
argue maybe they couldn't get scrims, but you think they would.
I was
right?
wrong, but
Yeah.
still, they very
There
well
was at
could have gotten
least 6
scrims.
teams guaranteed that were scrimming in
Sure.
Rocks,
Yeah,
SKT,
Yeah.
and the 4 promotions.
that is very true. I was
So we
incorrect
haven't
in my
finished yet.
statement.
Instead, we allowed our players to take some time off, see their families, and go to MSI re-energized and with high
But they
motivation
could have done both.
to do good.
Yeah.
So I guess they were going to be saints. Were they like going to give alms to the poor? Right
They're
here?
fighting darkness, Monty.
They were doing good. They're the
Yeah.
paladins. So by the way, this should be do well.
Okay, they're
Come
they're
on, we should-
Europeans.
They're European. I was gonna say,
forgive their
let's
grammatical
let's
errors
be mean.
here.
Let's not be too mean.
They were going to adopt some orphans. Like, what? Obviously, our results throughout the first 2 days of MSI. Yep, did attest to that fact, but rest assured that we'll do everything in our power to come back stronger. I really hope so, G2. I really want you to do well. We had a couple of good days of
good.
scrim results here in Shanghai before day 1. Hope that level of play translates into our upcoming games. Everybody wants that. We are greatly honored to be representing our region in this tournament. Are you? Your actions don't really say that, and we are doing our best to improve each game.
That's why the hard difficulty of making it through.
The whole thing about this is that this statement is just, it's the premise itself is so faulty, and it's so transparent from this that the actual answer is we didn't think about boot camp being in Korea. That's like 100%
And it's
the
fair to
actual
say,
answer.
and that's not really like them overlooking that is fair given the fact they're a new org. Well, they're not a new
Sure.
org, but like they're a new team in the LCS.
Yeah.
Like
But just
people
say
make
that.
mistakes.
Just say that. That's the whole thing. Is that it's just they try and justify it. And look, I am so sympathetic to players getting breaks. Like incredibly sympathetic. Like I think the players deserve more breaks than they get. I think it's really bad that the LCS and the League of Legends schedule mean that you don't have breaks if you're a top tier team. That you have to keep going. But you don't get to say things like, "We were practicing 6 days a week." Great, everybody was.
Yeah.
So what's your excuse? Like that's not an excuse. Oh, we didn't have visas. No, it doesn't actually take visas to practice in Korea. And then you paint it like, oh, it would have been detrimental to discriminate. Like the level of arrogance and ignorance in this entire post is just shocking.
Alright, there's a Reddit thread here that says Steelback was talking to O Gaming on the Twitch channel saying G2 has big internal problems. That's why I can't say more, but they have big problems. They can't play at their level. A guy posted yesterday about the G2 bot lane probably getting replaced.
By
I mean, this
By
speculation's
Zen
been
and
out there.
Mithy.
Yeah, this
Right.
speculation's been out
Okay.
there.
Right. This is. I mean, there's a Reddit thread, and people have been asking me to share this with you so that you guys can go over this and
I don't know.
see what you think about that.
I don't understand. Like
And basically,
this doesn't.
and all of this because Perks absolutely wanted to play with Sven and Mithy.
Well, they're good.
Let's see.
This rumor was out
I'm not trying to
yesterday.
blame him, but this is probably the real reason why the team didn't get to practice together, or don't practice together. Sorry, I'm not bad, but I'm not very good with this bad grammar thing. And are playing like that right now. I think Perks and G2 fucked up the setup this right before MSI.
I think there's so much conjecture there because there was a story yesterday about this, and then just you can't just put 1 + 1 and say that. Like,
Who knows?
obviously it could be true, but
We don't know. This is all conjecture, obviously, but yeah, there was a Reddit thread about that. I sent that to
but the
you.
poor players.
I mean, either way, this is still just a whole lot of bullshit.
Right.
It doesn't. That doesn't matter.
Yeah.
This is still an official statement from an org that is just shit.
It's layered with nonsense.
It's just a faulty premise.
Yeah.
The premise.
It's like multiple faulty premises.
Visas were a problem when our players could stay for 90 days on a passport.
No, I think it's important to recognize. I think if I was G2 here, the thing I would be saying is like, you know, we needed a break. We don't like the system that basically punishes our players because they have to play constantly and they never get breaks if they're a top team. And we made a decision that we felt was in the best mental health of our players, and we understand that we may have let the European fans down, that we could have gone somewhere else to scrim. But you don't like start shitting on the challenger teams and saying that they're actually making you worse, and it's just like, it's just disgusting what this is. It's just so bad. And it's insulting to the fans, it's insulting to the other teams, it's insulting to fucking everybody. There's nothing about this that isn't insulting.
The other thing is, like, they know they have resources in Korea if they wanted to boot camp. It's not like they would be completely, you know, in the dark. They can come to Korea, they can contact you, they can contact me.
No, they don't even need to do that. They have Trick and Emperor
That's true. They
on
Yeah.
the team.
Yeah.
You don't think they can't get scrims with CJ and
No,
like,
I'm just saying, just even
whatever?
getting
Like,
set up in Korea in case, like, the boys don't know how
but
to
the
do
crazy
that.
thing is, like, everyone should go home, and then like they can join
Agreed.
2 of the Koreans that came home
Right.
to scrim.
Anyway, silly. Alright, so next up. Zebi donated $5. Hey, Monty, big fan. The most pressing thing on my mind after watching these VOD reviews is which popcorn toppings are your favorite? What are you saying? I don't know. Like, I just eat
Butter?
Standard butter and
Are you
salt.
a butter or a salt or both?
Butter and
Neither.
salt.
Some people say that I like the salt, but
I think it's both.
good.
Har har har.
White Eye 12 has subscribed. Thank you. Smugglier than thou. Ooh, that sounds like me.
Smugglier than. That's a good name.
What you guys are doing is so awesome. Glad to see some of the analysis I love from Mogen, these international games. Thanks to all 3 of you. Thank you.
And a subscription.
Thank you for
Yeah,
roping
right,
me
right.
into the word analysis.
Alright, guys. Well, I think that's going to do it for us tonight, because it's now 3 a.m. here. So we'll be back with more fun games tomorrow for you. So thank you very much for watching, and we will see you then. So good night. Good night, good night, good night.